happy Independence Day to all of you. This is a wonderful, momentous occasion of 75 years of Indian independence and the Azadi Ka Mahotsav, the Amrit Mahotsav starting. And I wish all of you a very, very happy Independence Day. This is a great year, great day for India in history, and all of us who have got this independence need to be grateful for it, need to work for it, and need to respect it. And I think it's really so important that we, like true Indians, feel for our country, respect our country, and respect everything that makes us have that identity as Indians. Today, yesterday I had a wonderful release of my music video, and in fact on Friday evening we had a release of my song Dancing Rain, and yesterday there was a release of the music video, and we had a wonderful response from everyone. In fact, on Friday evening, the track was launched by Bollywood superstar Ravina Tandon, and this was going to all stores across the world, all online stores from Apple Music to Deezer to everyone, Spotify and Ghana, Savan, all that. And it's all across every digital store, and you can catch it streaming there. And yesterday we had a launch of the music video, and there was so much of a wonderful response and so many people writing to me, emailing, calling, messaging, that I decided to do this Instagram and YouTube live today. And I'm so happy that so many of you have joined in and are coming in to ask me questions. A lot of people have already sent me questions, and so I'm going to answer some of those questions, and you're welcome to ask whatever other questions you may have, and I'll try to answer that. So let me start with one of the questions that I was asked on email was what actually created or what prompted me to create this track. And for those who may not have heard the track, let me tell you that this is a multi-percussive, multi-dimensional, multi-layered percussive track. When I say percussive, I mean, the tabla, the djembe, the darbuka, the dholak, and the taphon. These are all percussion instruments. They are rhythm instruments, and they are called percussive or percussion instruments. And the general category is the world percussion instruments. So what I have done in this album, in my earlier album in Recharge Plus and in Get Recharge, is when I brought in the whole concept of multi-percussion and a lot of the multi-layering. And here I have gone some steps further to make it a multi-percussive, multi-dimensional experience, where I have a lot of vocal and jazz and Indian instrumentals coming together along with the percussion to create the mood that I was working to create, and which is called, since the track is called Dancing Rain, I was interested in it actually started with, I have always been a great nature lover. In fact, going around experiencing nature, monuments, different cultures, and all the different languages is something that is a passion with me. It inspires me, whether it is music, whether it's painting, whether it's sculpture, writing, poetry. All these allied arts have always inspired me. And coming from a family which is highly educated, and my mother being a well-known painter and a writer herself, and the exposure I got since I was a child ensured that I took a little bit of a, should I say, Uh, I've done several combination shows of uh, tabla with poetry or with film. And so, for example, when I did the film Gach Gamini, which was again uh, the first of its kind, it was a background score which was completely created on tabla. And when the great M.F. Hussain, the great painter M.F. Hussain, approached me to do the background score, I was overwhelmed because when such a great artist uh, reposes that faith in you, you have a double responsibility to deliver. And so I did the background score completely on tabla and voice, and he made it absolutely mandatory clear that he didn't want anybody else, no other instrument, only tabla and voice, because he said the struggle that you have gone through as a first female professional tabla player is something that I want to bring out, because the struggle of women through the ages has been common, and you can experience and portray that through your playing. So that was an amazing experience in which the film and the background music particularly was lauded in the Cannes Film Festival for its evocativeness and beauty. And then when I went ahead, I started doing a lot of multi-percussion, because having learned from great tabla legends, Ustad Allah Khan Zakir Hussain, I was equipped with, I should say, the information to have to transpose that from the tabla onto the other instruments. So I have tried to bring that feeling of how, I always believe that percussion instruments have a voice of their own, have a language of their own, have a communication that transcends just words. Yes, when a person sings, he has the advantage of words because a language can be understood. But my endeavor has always been to make sure that the tabla is appreciated and the language itself is appreciated and understood. And that is what I communicate even in my tabla jugalbandi with myself, which is another creation. So if you really trace the way I think about it, it's more about uh, elevating the instrument and giving it more and more respect, which is something which I have always endeavored for. So, in the same line, Dancing Rain is about taking the communication of percussion instruments and combining that with fusion, with new age music, jazz, African, Latin, percussion, as well as the music and the instrumentals of all these different genres and incredible countries, cultures, and which is exactly what I have done in this. And you will see an incredible amalgam of all these different elements. And so go and check out Dancing Rain on, it's streaming on all platforms, on JioSaavn, on Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and everybody else, and Ghana and all these other platforms. And of course on YouTube, my video, which I must tell you about, is something that was released yesterday. And the video itself is interesting for the fact that it was my first time when, I was making an entire film from start to end. And in this, I was very fortunately helped by my disciple Tushar Raturi, who actually did the video editing and did a lot of the production work, along with another friend, Ashin, and a couple of other friends who helped me with stuff. And then of course with good friends like Ravina coming in to do some of the shots. It was incredible to actually have the opportunity to make a film from the beginning to the end. So it's a 7-minute long film, which is actually tracing the journey of that rain from the clouds to the little droplets to a whole downpour to the water flowing away to a little bit of a romantic experience to you know, to Vande Mataram, which I I was especially keen to do this for the Indian independence, because I believe that a lot of my inspiration is my country. Everything that I do is actually very much inspired from the monuments, from the culture, from the food, from the languages of this incredible country. And today I thought that uh, that's why I wanted to talk to all of you. That this multi uh, track or multi layered music that I produced here, and the video that we released yesterday, is really, in a sense, about India, about the diversity and the beauty, the romance, the nostalgia, the drama of the monsoons, and all the emotions that come alive, which is what makes this country such a fascinating place. So I really urge all of you to go out and listen to this video on YouTube, and do post your comments and share it. And it's really important that the artists, and I also like to tell you about the artists who have collaborated on this. Uh, Now, when I started this whole thing, it was, it was incredible how so many artists just joined in. And, you know, uh, there is a section in the end and in the beginning of Vande Mataram, and where I had the great, Dr. Shobna Narayan ji, Shashwati Sen ji, both great acclaimed Kathak dancers come in and do the Vande Mataram section, as well as in the beginning I have done a very interesting paran for the Tabla enthusiasts. I might say that this is a Dal Badal paran, which is called Dal Badal is the way जिस तरह से बादल गरजते हैं, जिस तरह से आवाज़ उसकी आती है और वर्षा ऋतु का आवाहन होता है, तो उस संदर्भ में मैंने दल बादल परन से उसकी शुरुआत की है। और जैसे कि तबले की भाषा में भी परन से शुरुआत करना बनारस का एक अंग रहा है, तो मैंने उस तरह से उसकी शुरुआत की है ये कॉम्पोजिशन की, जो डांसिंग रेन है। एंड आफ्टर दैट आई हैव एंडेड विद in the end, it is, so this composition starts with Dal Badal Paran, and of course it goes on to including all sorts of other, there have been fantastic musicians like Keith Peters on the bass, Sandeep Soparkar on dance, the Latin dance, is Sandeep Ranade on vocals, Phil Scarf from the US, he played the saxophone on this, Meeta Nag on sitar, then there's Satya on keyboards, mandolin, and of course Farooq Bhai on sarangi, and Shikharnath Qureshi, Tawfiq Bhai's son, on this, on the Latin percussion. So, this was very interesting that these were these wonderful musicians who came together, many young musicians came together, and we made this composition. And then of course the dancers lent that final touch of the Vande Mataram, because somewhere within me there's a great, I should say, I come from a family of freedom fighters, and so that is, my country means a lot to me. So this is how the Vande Mataram ends the composition, Dancing Rain, and which is why I released it yesterday in honor of India's 75th anniversary, independence year, the Amrit Mahotsav. So I'd like to ask some questions.
Yes, there's one from Kanchan. Total, how many instruments were used in the performance?
Okay. There were about 10 instruments that I played in this, and several more that I also put in. So I played several instruments, I think tabla, pakhawaj, taphon, the djembe, the dholak, kanjira, uduku, then several side rhythm instruments and all that. So I think 10 or 12 instruments is what I played together.
In the full track, she's asking how many.
Yeah, on the full track, I think there must be about 30 instruments, definitely.
And what inspired you before you started making the video?
Before I started making the video, I think what inspired me was, well, I I don't know what inspired me. Like I said, nature has always inspired me, and I think a lot of the inspiration of the track before I actually composed this track was nature, and so I decided that the track, when I make the music video, it should have a lot of nature in it.
Also, people appreciating the track and the video, and they're asking you to play something special.
Okay, so what do you want me to play? So what I'm going to play for you is a little short version of how the drops, you can start easy, of how the drops actually start, little drops of rain, and then a whole downpour, and then it going away. Children coming out before that. When the downpour happens, the earth comes alive, the fragrance of the earth, जो खुशबू सौंधी सौंधी खुशबू आती है जब पृथ्वी जाग उठता है, और उसके बाद में खुशी से जो बच्चे बाहर आते हैं खेलने, and the peacock dancing, all that I have shown in the track, I will show it. That was a long 7 minutes track, and I'm just going to show it in maybe 20 seconds or maybe 30 seconds. So little drops of rain and going ahead to a downpour and clouds gathering and a downpour, and finally the water going away. वर्षा की लहर बढ़ती है जब ज़्यादा बारिश आने लगती है, तो उसकी भी अपनी लय बढ़ती है.
क्या बात है। अभी एक और क्वेश्चन वाली हो प्लेइंग, आप इतनी खूबसूरत वर्षा कैसे सोचती हैं? जीवन को इतना सुंदर देखने के पीछे क्या प्रेरणा है और या क्या दर्शन है?
जीवन इतना सुंदर है, आप अगर हर चीज़ को पॉजिटिवली देखेंगे तो जीवन अच्छा लगेगा। आप अगर हर चीज़ में कुछ कमी देखेंगे तो कमी लगेगी। आपकी सोच के ऊपर सब कुछ है। तो मैं वर्षा को, हाँ ऐसे होता है कि हम बाहर निकलना चाहते हैं, बहुत चिपचिप गंदा हो जाता है, रास्ते खराब हो जाते हैं, लेकिन उसके पीछे जो एक पॉजिटिविटी है अगर हम उसको देखेंगे तो हमें वो गंदगी नहीं महसूस होती है। तो आई थिंक इट्स अबाउट हाउ यू चेंज योर माइंड सेट। ठीक है, थैंक यू एवरीबडी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबका। और डू लिसन टू डांसिंग रेन on YouTube, Dancing Rain Anuradha Pal. This is featuring Ravina Tandon, Shobna Narayan ji, Sandeep Soparkar ji, Shashwati ji, and many other leading musicians. You're gonna have and wish you all a very happy Independence Day. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.